Welcome to the IOD Summer Collection 2025. I'm Mara LaFay with Vintage Retail Therapy by Mara. If you're new here, I'm so glad you're joining me. I like things that are a little bit different and unique, and sometimes, as artists, we like to bend, break, or sometimes tweak the rules. So we're going to be working with the Ditsy Bloom inlay, and we are doing a project that is technically considered off-label. So grab your favorite beverage, stick around. You're gonna love this project. It's fast, it's functional, it's easy, and I'll even show you some other projects that I've done using inlays on textiles. Stick around, you're gonna wanna see this one.
A few different patterns and 8 sheets of goodness are in this inlay. I'm starting with a white denim jacket, perfect for summer. Use painter's tape to tape off the area that you're going to be applying your inlay to. You ready to go? Let's do this. So I've decided to use 2 different patterns on this jacket. I think it'll make it really interesting. I thought about taking one long strip and just doing a whole strip on one side, and then I changed my mind. Big surprise there. And I decided to take it in sections. This way I could be super intentional about where what flowers are going, and I could be really specific about the placement. So just cut your sheets to whatever looks pleasing to you. There's really no right or wrong here. You know what? If it gets you the happy feeling on the inside, you're going in the right direction. So here's where you need to remember that you are inlaying into textiles. It's a very porous surface, and it also has a lot of texture. So I'm applying a pretty generous layer of chalk style paint, and I am spritzing my inlay and then applying it onto the fabric. Keep working your way down, and remember, spritz the back of the inlay, not the front. You're going to be inlaying that pattern into your wet paint. So you can really see here how wet that fabric is. So you want that paint nice and juicy because you really need something for that inlay to grab onto, especially over the textiles. So when you have a pattern that's pleasing to your eye, here's where it gets a little bit interesting. I want you to take a transfer stick. Now typically we would use a wet rag or perhaps a sponge, but because you want to work that paint into the fibers of your textile, I'm taking a very light hand and just gently pushing that inlay into the textiles. You can almost see as it starts to release. You'll be able to tell how the paper has a bit of an opacity to it. Remember, don't push too hard because you don't want to shift that inlay. So put gentle pressure, but you can almost see how it starts working it into the fabric. You need to make sure that that inlay is 100% dry. Here comes the exciting part. Lightly mist it and you're going to start the big reveal. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at that. It's so good. So depending on the weight and the texture of your fabric will depend on what your outcome is. When it's on something super textural like this, it tends to be a little bit more faded, a little bit more vintage looking, but honestly, I'm not mad at it. Okay, you guys, this part is super duper important, so make sure you pay attention. Inlays are considered active paint until it is top coated. If you're not comfortable having a light hand, and sometimes it takes a minute to learn how to do that, ask me how I know. You want to make sure that you apply a very, very light touch. If you're heavy-handed, you can take half top coat and half water and spray it. So on these next two sections, I decided to do a bit of an experiment. I wondered if I sealed my fabric and basically filled up the porosity a little bit, what kind of result I would be. So after taping it off, I actually applied one coat of top coat to it before adding my chalk style paint. And you're gonna see the result. I think it's super cool. I just used a plain piece of paper here and made myself a template. And this is what I'm going to be using to cut my shape out for the jacket top. This is so exciting, and honestly, I love doing this so much. I've done jackets, I've done purses, I've even done sneakers. Yep, plain pair of sneakers. Here's the thing, it's so interesting, it's so unique and one of a kind, and no two could ever be alike. And you know what? I just love that. So here's where I added my top coat first, before the chalk style paint. I did a generous amount. Again, this is just a test, and feel free to do your own test because you know what? There's a ton of different ways to do things, right? So I encourage you to experiment, try it, and see which way you like it the best. I made sure that it was good and dry, and then I applied my chalk style paint, and then you'll see we're going to be adding the inlays. So this is like the Three Little Bears situation here. Not too strong, not too light, but just right. Just give it a gentle nudge into those fibers. Don't shift your paper. Okay, I admit it. This part can seem a bit tedious, but pinky swear promise. Just go slow. Slow and steady wins the race, and you will be so happy with your results. Just repeat that same process that we've done all throughout the jacket. We're almost to the end, you guys. Hang in there. I can't wait for you to see these results. And then you need to let me know in the comment, who's going to try this? I hope you've been inspired to try something different today. Okay, I admit it. Sometimes I'm a little tempted to peek before it's time. It's kind of like a watched pot never boils. It's so hard because it's so exciting. So this one really had a lot of moisture underneath, so I thought it may be too wet to push a transfer stick around. So I thought, well, heck, since we're experimenting anyway, let's try dabbing this one and see how much of the inlay gets transferred onto the jacket. They both came out great. And here we go. Ready for the big reveal? Come on, say it with me. Ooh, ah. A little bit more faded, but I gotta say, I kind of love it. I just think it looks fabulous because you know what? I really wasn't looking for perfection, and you shouldn't be either when you're working with inlays. So I thought I was done, and I thought, you know what, let me add just one more little piece to the collar. And I gotta say, it does look pretty stinking cute, don't you think? So here it is. I absolutely love it. And here's my daughter Yasmin being my supermodel. Here's another jacket that I did. I just love how this one came out. And as promised, here is the purse. I love the colors on that. And there's my sneakers. I hope you were inspired to try this project. Let me know in the comments. Ciao for now.